Hello, and thank you for joining me, Ashley Ward, in this quick 15-minute video on some things that we can do around securing Kubernetes. Now, my name is Ashley Ward. As I've said, I am the Cloud CTO for Palo Alto Networks within Prisma Cloud, focusing on the EMEA region. And now that means that I get to do lots of nice talks and speak to customers and evangelize about stuff. But it also means that everybody wants me to talk about their part of a product. And when we talk about securing things like Kubernetes, we know that having a platform that does all that is critical. But that does mean for me that lots of people want me to show lots of different things. So I'm going to jump over and I'm going to play this video while I'm talking, and then we will do a live demonstration at the end. One of the things that people said to me that they wanted was everybody at KubeCon, well, they're going to be spinning up clusters and having small clusters and multiple clusters in different environments, and they want to know how easy it is to deploy software on there to secure it. And I kind of thought, well, that's very sales pitchy, but okay, fine. If people would be really interested in that, I can spin up a cluster. I can use EKS CTL or EKS Cuttle, and I can spin up a cluster, as you can see there. It takes usually, well, 16 minutes is how long it took there, but 17 minutes. I could then quite easily deploy my Defender YAML in there and see them all pop up in my console, and everybody's happy. Look at me, I've done all this nice stuff. I could then make sure that I can see these things are there. So I've got the hosts are there, the defenders are there, and they're connected. I could jump over then and say, right, okay, well, in the time that it's taken for that to be deployed, do I have any vulnerabilities that might be on there? So jumping over to the hosts and saying, what hosts have I got? There's my new Amazon Linux ones that are there. Do they have some vulnerabilities? Oh, great, they do, super. I don't care at this point. I just want to show that I've gone ahead and scanned that straight away. And then what about if I look for vulnerabilities for images? Well, what do we know? Let's filter by the host name just to show that we're not using the old ones. And there we are. Let's make the screen bigger. And we have some vulnerable images that are there. Great, happy days. We've shown we can do that. But this is KubeCon. So what about somebody else shouting, Ashley, do shift left. Everybody loves shift left. Do shift left. Well, okay, fine. So we could show shift left, and that would involve saying we will pull down an image. We will then use a lovely command line to scan that image. This is almost commoditized. I mean, yes, we say ours is better. Yes, we can do this with pretty colors, and we can show just a pass or a fail, or actually big long screeds of information. Yes, I suppose that's kind of cool, but is it quite what people in KubeCon are after? I'm not sure, but okay, fine. I can show that this type of thing does work. I suppose a differentiator for us is that not only does this work from a command line and do it in CI/CD, but also it's going to pop up and say, hey, we're inside a central location. We can all see and speak the same language because, of course, we're talking about doing stuff with platforms. Well, then somebody in this meeting to decide what is Ashley going to say at KubeCon. Well, let's do full platform, cloud native application protection platform. Everybody will love that. You should show them that we don't just secure container stuff. We secure the actual hosts, and we also secure the cloud platform, and not just one cloud service provider. Show that we do lots and lots of different cloud service providers, and that will be really important. And of course, then somebody says, yes, that is important. People do want to know that. But at KubeCon, typically, people want to know about Kubernetes. So is it that great showing we can do all these things? Well, yes, it's nice and showy-offy, but it's not necessarily what people want. Then somebody else in the room says, well, runtime protection. Runtime protection is awesome. We do it all automatic. You should definitely show that. So show that you've been playing about with different things you've deployed. So here, I'm going to spin up a nice little Nginx, and I'm going to go into it and see what's happening. So what have I got here? I'm inside my Nginx container. Great. I've just run bash. Great. This isn't an example of somebody really doing this. No, well, I mean, it could be that that container was exploited somehow. Other than this, it could be user error. Regardless, the point of this runtime stuff is no matter what stuff I type in here, all of it is going to be tracked, all of it's going to be logged, and we're going to be able to show that. So as we can see here, my typing's particularly bad. I'm picking commands that I can't particularly run. So we'll try and do something else here that would make it at least a little bit more interesting. curl's there. So let's get a whole splurge of stuff from curl. Great. And we'll touch another file. And then let's go and see what that means for runtime protection. Runtime protection being a really important part that is often overlooked. So we'll jump over and we can see, right, oh, look at this. We have this major incident that has occurred because, funnily enough, we have data exfiltration. We have somebody doing stuff inside an Nginx container. Oh, look, we've done stuff with Google. That was suspicious name resolution. Then we've also made outbound connections. Oh, great stuff. Now we can also have a look and we can see exactly what went on inside that container. So yes, the runtime stuff is super important, and it's super cool that we can see all of this and log all of this for every single container, but we're still talking about this being KubeCon. So what can we do to actually teach somebody? So rattling through, because I've only got a short period of time, let's come out of this and jump over to here. So what can we teach somebody, and what's the one takeaway I'd really like you to think about? OPA. OPA, Open Policy Agent, is awesome. It's really, really cool. We love it. It's a great way, and look at the website, openpolicyagent.org. There's lots of information, and it does boil down to stop using different things when we can just use one common thing. Now, the good thing about this is there's lots of information about how to do stuff, and there's the Rego playground. And what this means is that we can put in here some input. We can put what we want to check, and so you can test all those different policies that you're writing in the same way with Rego. And we can then go, right, what's the result? And in my situation, I've done a really simple one. I've got an input here that's going to say, let's run in privilege mode. And I've got here a lovely little thing that's saying, well, if that's going to run in privilege mode, let's catch that and say something. Now you can then put in denies and you can do all that kind of good stuff. I'm going to jump over here into Prisma Cloud where we're using Rego, and oh look, I do happen to have this privileged pod creation, which the eagle-eyed amongst you will see it is exactly the same as I was putting in here. So I've got that all there. I don't need to put the package information because the Prisma Cloud is going to work that out for me. So I've got all of this detail there. I've got that there. And now let's actually try and run this. Okay. Now over here, you can see that I have actually put in that I'm going to use the validating webhook. We provide the OPA for that, the YAML for creating it. The Open Policy Agent website has some nice guides if you want to do this yourself on your cluster. I've used the one that Prisma Cloud provides because, funnily enough, I'm using Prisma Cloud. So that's what we've got up here. Then we've got this privilege.yaml. So I've got this, the same thing actually as I had for, as I had over here. I'm just using YAML, and here we've pulled something out that's JSON. Actually, the way that I did it was I cheated to make it all nice and easy. I deployed in YAML, and then I did a get pods -o JSON and pulled that out and put that in there. So I knew that it was like belt and braces. I've got both. So if let's have a look and see, whoops, if I apply this. So I'm taking that privilege.yaml and I'm going to apply it. And hopefully something's going to happen. Great, we have a pod that has been created. kubectl, if I could type, get pods. Yay, so we have something running. Super happy days. Now, if I jump back over here, we'll remember what we did and set up was we've done that input, but YAML instead of JSON. We've had that check that's in place to say, if it's privileged, I kind of want to know about it. And you can play about with this in here, and you click evaluate, and it does all its magic and tells you. And then over here in Prisma Cloud, here's my rule, the same rule as we saw, and I've got it in alert. I could have it in block or specifically allow. All of that detail was there. So let's cancel out of that. Now we did run it. I have already deployed that OPA, if I jump back over here, I've already put that webhook configuration in place. We've run all the stuff. Let's see what we've got then. If I go over to monitor and I jump over to my events, I have admission audits. I quite fancily have one that I played about with earlier, but I also have this one here. And when we bring this up, we get to see, there's the actual raw information. An alert was generated. The operation was create. And all of that is here now within my one central security platform. So we would encourage, and I would encourage you to go and play with OPA. You can learn about it very simply through all of that. The playground is really, really awesome. Do have fun going around with that. And then when you're ready, and when I can learn to use a mouse, when you're ready, do have a try of Prisma, because not only do you have the admission audits right in there straight off the bat, but we can also see things like we've had trust failures because automatically we've learned that that image wasn't a trusted image that we deployed into that environment. And then we've also got that runtime stuff that we talked about. We've also got the runtime radar to be able to say, this is how all the containers are going to talk to each other, and lots more beside. Takeaway, check out OPA, and then also come around our virtual booth where we will go into great detail about all these different features, including, if you ask nicely, all the stuff around cloud security posture management as well. Again, let's switch over here so you can at least see things. My name is Ashley Ward. That's my email address right there. Please feel free to send me feedback or ask me questions, anything like that. I hope you have a wonderful conference. It's a shame that it's virtual and not in person. I always love coming along to KubeCon. And other than that, stay safe, and I hope to see you sometime. Thanks very much.